Welcome to Kraken Hunters. I'm Carolina Hitman, and today we'll be reviewing the Wolf Predator Legendary Scale Bust by Sideshow Collectibles. I'm a very big Predator fan. As you can tell by a lot of the statues I have on the side of my walls here and on my display cases, I'm a big, huge Predator fan. I've been one ever since the original Predator. So when I saw this being released by Sideshow Collectibles, I immediately jumped on it. So today we'll be discussing what I like about it, what I don't like, and just a few other little things in between. But stick with us. Hope you enjoy it. Let's begin. For those who aren't familiar with the character, this is the Wolf Predator. He made his appearance in the movie Aliens vs. Predator Requiem in 2007. In my opinion, I hate to say it, but that was one of the low points in the franchises. Either Aliens or Predator, either or, and I'm a big fan of both. But this is one of the low points. But he was one of the coolest aspects of that movie. You can tell he was an elder one, or a really experienced hunter. You know, as you can tell by the scars on his face, you can tell he's dealt with the xenomorph before, or as the acid being splashed on his face. But he had a lot of gadgets, you know, a lot of tools to get the job done. And I think that's why a lot of people really love this version of Predator, because you can tell he was an experienced hunter and he did what he had to do to get the job done. So if you want to check out the movie, that's okay. If you want to get a little more background on the character, check it out. I mean, it's not an abomination, but it's pretty bad. But if you want to get a look at what he does in the movie, by all means, check it out. I hope you enjoy it. One of the main things I actually really like about the statue is the actual look of it. I think they did a really good job bringing the Wolf Predator bust to life. I think it looks really good. I like how the position of the mouth, the mandibles, and even highlights where I assume he got burned by a xenomorph during combat. You know, they have the acid for blood, so I assume that's what happened to him in his face. I think they really did a good job on the skulls as well. They're really well done. I'd be curious to know what some of these skulls actually were before I guess they were killed, if you want to say. But I think they did a really good job with those as well. Then they did a good job with the spurs, if you want to call them. I don't know what they actually call them, but I'm going to call them spurs today. Then they did a really good job with that. Even the dreadlocks. No, nothing fancy or anything like that, which I guess dreadlocks really don't have to be too fancy, but I think they did a good job with them. So overall, I'm actually really satisfied with the actual look of the Wolf Predator bust. I even like the eyes. He did a really good job with those. Milky white eye, like I said, I guess from the acid, from the xenomorph's blood. So overall, I really like the look of it. The base itself was okay. Nothing too fancy. Nothing to really give to or take away from the actual sculpt. Looks like a little bit of Predator skin along right here, along the edges. They even have some of their language written on the sculpt right here. Which actually, I really appreciate that. I would actually love to be able to learn how to read that. But give everybody a 360 look of the actual base. Like I said, nothing too fancy or anything like that. Just kind of minimalistic. So I don't think the base takes away or really adds to the sculpt. It's just there. So overall, I'm satisfied with the base itself. No glaring issues, no paint defects. So overall, I'm satisfied. Now on to some of my complaints, which I actually have quite a few on this statue. For one thing, I think the veins in the mouth were pretty lazily done. As you can see, you know, the little lines, little lines in the mouth. I think they're actually pretty lazily done. I mean, this didn't look like anybody put anything into them. Move it up so you can see a little bit closer. There we go, perfect. As you can see, the veins are pretty horribly done in this statue. It just looks like someone took a pen and just drew the lines on there. You can see from the side. And I think that's just pretty lazy. I mean, it just looks horrible compared to the actual sculpt of the statue. It just looks horrible compared to it. All right, back him up. One of the other things I have a problem with is this right here. You can see that line in the mandible right along here. That, for me, for a $650 statue, that's unacceptable. You know, quality control really let some stuff go on this statue. You know, you can see right here it goes all the way around. Like I said, to some people it may be a nitpick, but to actual statue collectors, they all agree, for $650, your statue needs to be perfect. No flaws on it, because that's a lot of money to spend on a hobby. And it needs to be perfect. And it needs to be a little bit better in the detail department. Like I said, it just looks like someone took a pen and just wrote it on there. And that's lazy, especially for that much money. Although I don't feel like taking the head out and actually showing you gentlemen and ladies, another issue I had was with the dreadlocks. Now, you can't really see it because it's kind of jumbled up in there. You can't really see it. See if I can maneuver around some of the, there we go. You see that? See that seam right there in the middle? That's supposed to be 2 dreadlocks. Now, again, I understand that may be nitpicking, but like I said, for that much money, there needs to be a little more care put into this statue. Especially compared to the other Predator busts that I have. Like, that's just lazy. You know, another good look at it. Now, to me, that's unacceptable. Another one of my major complaints is that this statue is made of PVC and vinyl, which basically amounts to plastic. For $650, they could have used a lot better materials for this statue. It gives off a plastic sheen to it. I don't know if you can tell really in the statue, but you can tell it just gives off a very plastic sheen. You know, for $650, I expected more, especially compared to the previous models of the Predators and their busts. Like, see, you can just tell it looks plasticky. I mean, I know that's not a word, but it looks plastic. I'm gonna make it one today. It looks plasticky. And for me, that's unacceptable for $650, especially when I know there are other busts and other statues made of higher quality materials, and they cost less than this statue right here, especially the previous ones. That's unacceptable for a statue collector to receive plastic for that much money. I think Sideshow really dropped the ball on this. And what makes me more angry as a statue collector is that they didn't post what this statue was going to be made of until after they started coming out. Because I guarantee you, if Sideshow had posted that this thing was made of PVC and vinyl, not as many collectors would have bought it. For us, I mean, you want some weight to it. That was the first thing I noticed when I took it out the box. It was so light. I mean, it comes in 2 boxes. Most of the weight is actually in the base. And like I said, I have the other 2. Well, actually, I have 3. I have the Predator 2, the Predator, and the Predator Hunter with the Masked Hunter version. I have all 3 of those. And each one, you can feel the weight, especially for the size of the statue, you could feel the weight on it. This one, you couldn't feel anything. Like I said, it was just so light. The box, I expected a lot more this weight to this statue, and I didn't get that. Like I said, I think Sideshow really dropped the ball on this. I don't want to say horrible because I like the sculpt itself, but it's just, for that amount of money, I feel like they could have used better materials. And I understand that some people will say, well, the cost of materials go up, over the years, and I can understand that, but PVC and vinyl, I'm sorry, there's no excuse for this statue basically costing double what the other statues have cost, as far as the other Predator busts. That's unacceptable. Overall, I'm extremely disappointed with this bust. You know, it's comparable to the quality of materials compared to the price. It's unacceptable. You know, plastic should not cost $650 to make. And what makes this even more just frustrating is that, I don't know if you can see, but I have the Predator and Predator 2 bust right here. Each one of these came with a nameplate as the exclusive. This is what we get with this one. A cheap piece of board with the picture on it. That's all. And that's garbage. For me, this Sideshow had an opportunity to really knock this off the park. Because for me, if Sideshow had advertised on their website that this was made with PVC and vinyl, I can guarantee you a lot of collectors would have never bought this, including myself, because these other two right here and here were made with a lot better quality materials. You can tell because of the weight with them. When I got this one, you can tell right away there was no weight to it at all. Most of the weight was in the base itself, which is detachable, which the head is detachable from the base. Unlike those, these are all one sculpt on the Predator 2 and Predator versions. And these cost almost half. This one costs $389.99 and this one $349.99. This costs $649.99. That's unacceptable. Inferior quality materials for almost double the price of these two right here. That's unacceptable. That's ridiculous. And I didn't even talk about one of my other things I had a problem with, which I don't have it here right now. But this statue came in a plain white box. And I know that sounds like a small nitpick, but when every other statue I've ever bought from Sideshow Collectibles, which I had quite a few of them, every other statue I've ever bought from them came in a colored box. It had a picture of the character, maybe some of its bio, you know, things like that on that box. And like I said, these statues cost less than this one, and they put more effort into those. And that's unacceptable, especially for a statue collector like myself. No, I want my money's worth when I spend my money buying something like this, spending it on my hobby. You know, between the materials used, the quality issue, the laziness of the veins and things like that, it's unacceptable. This statue is not worth $650. It's not. The only saving grace is the actual look of the bust itself, because it really does a really good job of bringing the wolf predator to life. That's the only saving grace in this bust. That's it. You know, for me, it's just unacceptable that they would dupe the collectors like that. Because that's what I feel like they did to us. There is no excuse for it at all. This statue should have been nowhere. I could have understood if it was around $449.99, somewhere along that price point. I could have dealt with that. I could have understood that. But $650 for plastic and quality control issues, that's unacceptable. Sideshow really needs to step up their game, because with other companies like Prime One doing Predator statues, and their quality has never been an issue, and they actually look a lot more detailed than the Sideshow Collectibles. I understand that they cost more, but their quality and the look of their statues really beats Sideshow Collectibles, and I'm no fool to admit that. I like Sideshow because it's something I can afford, and most of the time, I get really good statues out of the deal. But this wasn't one of those times. You know, for me, if I was to give a grade, for the sculpt, I give an A. It really does a good job bringing the wolf predator to life. But quality controls, I had to give an F, because I shouldn't see seams in my statue, for $650. For that much money, it needs to be perfect. Overall, I have to give a statue maybe a D, maybe. And that's being very generous right now. So collectors, this is still on sale at Sideshow Collectibles. If you can deal with it being plastic, if you can deal with some of the quality control issues on this thing, by all means, go to Sideshow Collectibles and purchase it. But I can guarantee you, 3 years down the line, when it's off their website, if people buy it, it'll probably be cheaper to get it off eBay, which is ridiculous because usually it's double once it sells out. But I can guarantee you this will be cheaper on eBay once it sells out. So for me, if you can deal with these issues, purchase it. But for me, I highly recommend not buying this statue. You know, I'm a perfectionist. I love collecting everything as far as a certain line. Unfortunately, I probably will keep it because I have all the other busts and I want to continue the line. But man, honestly, Sideshow needs to step their game up. With all these other companies out here putting out quality statues, they don't really need to be dropping the ball like this. So, I hope you enjoyed my review. Please follow us on Twitter. Check out my Facebook. Check out our Facebook page. Check out this YouTube video. I'm sorry to be so negative, but as a statue collector spending money like this, that's all I can be right now. But I hope you enjoyed the review. Please join us next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time, everybody. Peace.